وعلى أشرف الأنبياء محمد المصطفى وعلى آله المجتبى. In light of everything that is happening all around us, I just want to share a few things on this day of Juma. The earliest record of a plague in the Islamic history is the plague of Amwas, which broke out from a small town in Syria in the 18th Hijri in the time of Sayyidina Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu. And this is the same plague in which many notable and distinguished companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam lost their lives. The likes of Sayyidina Mu'adh ibn Jabal and Sayyidina Abu Ubaidah and Yazid ibn Abi Sufyan radiallahu ta'ala anhum ajma'een. And Ibn Kathir mentions a narration that a group of companions, during this plague, a group of companions visited the house of Abu Musa al-Ash'ari in Kufa. And they went to his house and they sat down. And Abu Musa al-Ash'ari says to them, "Don't make yourselves too comfortable here." And they say, "Why not?" And he says, "Because there was an individual that was inflicted with the plague in this very household and he died. And so therefore I advise you to return back to your cities, but go back to the open spaced areas of your cities and remain there حتى يرتفع هذا البلاء, until this calamity is lifted." And so the idea of social distancing and the idea of self-isolation was not strange for the Sahaba. And the Sahaba practiced this when it needed to be practiced. And Abu Musa al-Ash'ari continues and he says, "Let me tell you something very important. If something is disliked, just like this plague, just like this virus," he says, "if something is disliked, then caution must be taken to protect ourselves and safeguard ourselves from that thing." These are the words of the Sahaba, that caution must be taken. But he says at the same time, you should never ever think and assume to yourselves that if a person was to remain in the inflicted area, in the inflicted town, then that person would die. And if they were to remove themselves and leave, then they would be saved. And never assume and think to yourselves that if a person was to remain in the inflicted area, in the inflicted land, then this disease or this plague will certainly reach them. And if they were to leave, then it will certainly not reach them. This is not from the sound thinking of a Muslim. And so yes, take caution, but at the same time, know and believe that good and harm and shar is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, wherever you may be, wherever you may be. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the verses of the Quran, "Aynama takunu yudrikkumul mautu walau kuntum fi burujin mushayyada." Wherever you may be, death will come to you, even if you are within protected fortresses, guarded fortresses. And the second thing that I wanted to mention, in the same year, in the 18th Hijri, this year became known as Amur Ramada, the year of drought. And there was no food, there was no water, the crops didn't grow. And so therefore there was no food that was being produced. And people came to Sayyidina Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, and they said to Sayyidina Umar, "Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for water. And pray to Allah subhanahu, make dua that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends down rain. And so crops can grow and we can have food." And so Sayyidina Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, "Kharaja Umar yustasqa bin nasi fama zada ala al-istighfar hatta raja'a." And Sayyidina Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu leaves with the people to pray for water, but he does not say anything more than tawbah, and he returns back. All he does is tawbah and he returns back. And the people are confused and they come back and they say, "Oh Umar, ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, mimma naraka istasqaita." We did not see you pray for water. We did not see you make dua for water. All you did is tawbah and return back. And Sayyidina Umar radiallahu ta'ala, see, hey, when there's a trial and a tribulation, then the first thing we should do is seek tawbah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are in times of calamity. We are in times of distress. And so the first thing we should be doing is seeking tawbah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sayyidina Umar says, "Laqad talabtul matra bimahadij as-samai." And I have sought out water from using instrument and tools which the skies understand. They understand the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They understand tawbah. So I have done tawbah and have returned, and now you will see that it will begin to rain. And so we are in the moment, sa'atul istijaba, we are in the Sa'atul Ijaba, we are in the hour of the acceptance of dua. And so I ask each and every one of us to contemplate, to reflect on what is happening. And I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive us for our shortcomings and protect our family and our friends. وَمَا عَلَيَّ إِلَّا الْبَلَاغُ الْمُبِينُ.